Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Wednesday afternoon, September 16th. We're looking at the last 2 or 3 days of the SPY ETS market profile here on Window Trader. And very, very interesting day as the bulls with an excellent chance this afternoon as they finally take out the weekly high to stop the one-time framing down in the weekly and get above out of a 6-day balance, only to absolutely get rejected above last week's high and finish with an outside day down. So very, very bearish ending to the day. Now, one day certainly doesn't make a market. You know, I'm not going out saying, oh, the day, it's all over for the bulls. But it is a very discouraging day how they closed. I made reference in the room right before we kind of flushed out in LM that we had a $4 range prior to making these new lows. So up to C's low, we had a $4 range, well, including yesterday actually. We had a $4 range, and the majority of the volume was done within a 50-cent range from yesterday and today. So even though shorts getting punched in the face on the previous days, once those cover, I think these were longs continuing now to see, and they weren't getting much. So once the press conference was over, after the Fed spoke, they couldn't get much more. They got rejected above last week's high, and they started giving it up. Now, balance rules are certainly in force. We stretched the top of an 11-day balance. So it's about $12 or $11.50 balance. They stretched it by 50 cents. Well, for my money's worth, if the bulls do not get back and now take out last week's high and today's high fairly soon, you will rotate to the bottom of the balance, which is at 331. I had a good day today. Those calls that I had did not open anywhere near where I thought they would. I made money on them, but nothing. I didn't get everything back that I lost from yesterday. But again, I don't mind taking the trade. I should have been out of the trade below J and K from yesterday. But again, it's another lesson learned. Just like the lesson I really need to focus on, and I've been doing this forever, is these algos can really stretch. And so when you're in the money, man, you do have to hold on to some of them, because I certainly don't maximize my profits the way I should have been. But it was a good day overall in the for today's trading. So we opened in value, we opened in balance. I did nothing in A period. A period was a chop fest, back and forth through the opening. Inside of value, there was nothing for me to do. B, took out A, one time framed up, but just the way the algorithms had so much trouble taking out very visual levels, I took a 343 put against yesterday's high and against the weekly high at the time, and made a very nice trade as it came back down through the opening, and it made money. Now, I took, these were for today's expiration. I did take some for the 18th, but I'll get to those. Then in D period. So that was the trade I took in B. I did nothing in C. D period went up, was attempting to get to last week's high. I took a short put to start. I said, the way they had trouble taking out yesterday's high, I think they'll have trouble taking out the weekly high. And that's exactly what they did. E opened up, couldn't even take out D's high. I added, came back in, took them off around when the singles filled, and around the opening or above the opening for a nice trade. But again, that's where nothing told me to get out of that, because balance, F took it out, G, H, I. So, again, I have to be harder on myself to hold on to some of those to different destinations. Okay. Then I didn't do anything. What did I do? H. I took a long in H period. I took the 342 calls versus today's low. Nothing big. I said, I'm out if it gets below today's low. It didn't. Went back up. Nice trade. We ended 10 wide, believe it or not. So even though we have an outside day down, and it's pretty bearish on what took place, value was, I know the ES was overlapping the low, but we ended unchanged. We were a little bit above yesterday's, if I put this in ones, and below yesterday's. So that's unchanged. So value, at one point I thought we were going to get fully pulled up to overlap into higher because we were going higher in J and K. So that's the long I took in H. Then I said, once 2 o'clock comes, I'm not going to do anything probably until the press conference ends. I did do some stuff, but a lot of it was very small. So I didn't do anything in I, J, K. Nothing. L period, I took a short against C's low when we took it out. I'm sorry, not when we took it out. It came in, we took it out, went back up a little bit. I said, well, let's see if we can have singles. I took a short. That worked out. We did have singles that failed, so we had a chance for trend A up, failed, chance for trend A down, failed. And then in M period, believe it or not, I did nothing initially, and when it I did take a short. Went against me, I got out of it. Actually bought 50 calls because it looked like it was going to fill the singles. Made money on it. It didn't fill the singles, got out. Good thing I got out when I did because then it really flushed. And then I took, a couple of shorts. I scalped shorts a couple of times in M period for nice gains. So, let's go over destinations for tomorrow and talk about the bigger picture. Our destinations, by the way, are pretty far and wide apart. So we're going to get some movement. Even though we're in balance, we are going to get some movement. So we closed at 338.82, and that's just below February's high, by the way. So back and forth through February's range. So today's first destination on the upside is L's low of 339.26, which is where the price probe is. Now, we filled single prints, but you could actually use C's low as the price spike. And in fact, I'm going to. So I'm going to use 340. I'm going to write that down right now. So even though the single print's filled, where change took place was when L, right, ripped out C's low. Yes, M got back into it, but didn't stay in there and came out. So L's low is the price probe, 339.26, and C's low of 340.31 to me is the price spike. So if buyers cannot get above C's low, nothing has changed from what happened in L and M. Then above that, we don't have anything to 341.12, which was 10 wide. And then today's high of 343.06. So we have wide destinations to the upside. And guess what? They're wide to the downside also. We have today's low of 338.52. So that's right, 30 cents above where we closed. Then I used L's low as an afternoon pullback. Not a real true one. Nothing to really lean on. 337.55. I'll tell you what, if we get down there, if we take out today's low, I'm going to say that's not going to hold, and we should get 336.93 rather easily. And then look at below there, folks. We have nothing to lean on. We're only 7 wide. Again, I'm in like 6-tick increments. If we take out the 14th low, we could kind of have a free ride all the way down to that 331 level. So if you get any kind of sellers involved, if they take advantage at all of this outside day down and failure above a balanced high and a weekly high, you can absolutely get acceleration tomorrow. I'm not saying we're going to 331 tomorrow, but I'll tell you what, it could happen a lot sooner than later if we take out today's low and sellers are anywhere in the ballpark. And then on the charts, we'll go over all 3 of them. Monthly, like I said, we're back inside February's high, but we are one time framing of 5 months. So again, the big thing is last month's low, right? That's the key. If we take that out, we're in balance, and all the good feeling in the monthly is out the window. Weekly. Now, believe it or not, we did a good thing today before we fell apart. We took out last week's high. Right? Barely, but we took it out. What did we take it out by? 50 cents. So we stopped the one-time framing up. Down, I'm sorry. But here is something we do have to keep an eye on. That could be a double-edged sword. If we get that acceleration that I said could happen tomorrow if we take out today's low, right? The next destination is 331. We have 2 days left in this week. We could take out last week's low, and if you close below it, that's an outside week down. Now, I'm not calling for that, but you certainly have to have it on the table. And that would be pretty ugly for the bulls if that was to happen, right? All things we have to look ahead. It's a chess game, right? We trade the profile on a daily basis, but we have to know the bigger picture on the longer term, intermediate, and daily also. And the same with the daily. We are now in a 7-day balance. Today is the high of it, and the low is 331. If we take out today's low, right, we had an outside day down. If we take out today's low, there really is not much preventing us from getting down and testing the 50-day moving average, which right now looks like it has climbed. So that would be your first big reference point, around 333 and a quarter. And if it doesn't hold, then you're going to get to the bottom of the balance. We kept a lot of people out of trouble today in CamelbackTrading.org's trading room. We have a great group in there. I'm live streaming all day. It's awesome for people learning the profile or don't have their own profile. Come check us out. Have a great night. And we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.